This sweet bear is ready to color your day. Let's decorate. Hi, I'm Leslie with Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and if you love decorating sugar cookies or you want to learn how, you're in the right place. Let's decorate together. So today we're going to be decorating this adorable bear in the Krayon Kidz series. If you haven't caught all of these videos, be sure to check out the link in the description. And with all of them, we've already decorated the crayon, and here's a link for that as well. And you can get the free hand cutting template or buy the STL cookie cutters on my website, and that's also linked in the description. So we started out just by flooding in the ears. I'm using a pink royal icing at about a 15-second consistency, and then I set that aside and let it dry for about 20 minutes. Now that the ears have had time to set up, I'm going to come back in with my brown royal icing, also at about a 15-second consistency, and I'm going to outline his face and go ahead and flood in the outer ear. And I outlined a spot for his nose and for his eyes, and I'm just going to flood in around those. But in my pencil video, I actually flooded in the entire face with the brown royal icing, and then once that dried, I piped the eyes and the nose right on top of the dark brown icing. So two different ways you can do this, and I actually like the other way better. So using my lighter brown icing, I'm just making a little dot here as a placeholder to give the nose extra puff, and then I set that aside to dry for about another 20 minutes. Now I'm just going to use my black royal icing. It's in about a 20-second consistency. I'm going to flood in the eyes, and then immediately taking my white icing, I'm going to put highlights in the eyes. I didn't like my highlights. I thought this bear looked rather creepy, so I kept trying to add more to see if it would look better, and then I covered some of them up. And then I finally covered all of them up and made two different highlights in the lower part of the eye. And with everything, I'm using my scribe to settle the icing down so that I don't have any bumps or craters or air pockets anywhere. So I decided to leave the highlights like this, and I just used my scribe to settle those into the icing. And then I'm going to go ahead and flood in the paws. Again, my icing's about a 15-second consistency, so I'm not worried about it overflowing, and I am going on top of the crayon just a bit. And I'm using my scribe to settle that icing down and making sure that it gets all the way down to the cookie so I won't get a crater. And then I set this cookie aside to dry for about another 20 minutes. And now that everything is set up, I'm going to pipe right over that big dot we made for the nose with my light brown royal icing, also at about a 15-second consistency. And I'm just going to over pipe it. It's going to go over the top of the crayon just a little bit and over the eyes just a little bit. Again, just to give it a really big puff, and then I'll use my scribe to shape it and settle it down. And here you can see the pencil teddy bear that I did and how I did his eyes much differently. And I really like this one better. So I grabbed my black royal icing and I just piped a little triangle for the nose, and then I'll use my scribe to settle that icing down and shape it the way that I want it. And you can use this same cookie cutter to make a crayon or a pencil. And you can find a tutorial for decorating the pencil in my Pencil Pals cookie decorating class. So I let my teddy bear dry completely, and now I'm just going to use an edible marker to write his name on the crayon and draw a little line for his mouth. And then using some pink luster dust, I'm just going to give him some little rosy cheeks. And I will leave a link for all the products I used in the description. But he turned out actually pretty adorable, and as you can see, I changed his eyes one more time by coloring over it with a black marker and then painting on a white dot. But be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the tutorials in this series, and you'll get all my tips and tricks on how I fix things that I don't like. Thanks for watching. See you later.